Hi, I'm Enzo, your life coach from Bevolution, the channel that helps you improve your life. Today we are going to talk about how to listen. I'm not referring to the normal 2 minutes conversation that we struck with the cashier when we go to the supermarket, or the conversation that we have with a colleague when we are in the elevator. Those are just polite conversations that we normally do in social instances. Today, I'm referring to when someone comes to you in distress because he or she has a problem and wants to talk about that. Maybe he has done something that for her is shameful, or something that has provoked so much pain that she wants to talk about it. So she comes to you in a situation of pain, worry, shame, and any other painful feeling, and you want to help her. In this case, to help her, this person, you have to listen. Even though this person may present themselves to you like looking for an advice in a very casual way, sometimes they just insert in the talk every sort of normal daily events. They are actually, if you are a sensitive person, you can perceive. If you are able to observe others, you will very fast perceive that there is some inner pain here, and is this pain that you want to at least diminish in that person. You want to help that person. That's why listening is very important, and talking to people in general means listening. If you really want to talk in a positive way, you can talk to friends, relatives, sometimes can be just acquaintances. But if they are going through a very difficult period, or just having a moment of spiritual pain, psychological pain, whatever it is, you have to listen in a very special way, and it's a difficult skill to master. It includes various elements which I'm going to explain now in this video. The most important thing to remember is that when these people show their pain to you, they are very vulnerable. They are basically like a baby. What they are seeking, consciously or unconsciously, is not a solution, is not help to solve a problem, is not to get justice, is not to seek a redirection of their anger or other similar stuff. What they are really seeking from you is empathy. Remember this word, empathy. It means that they just want someone to listen to them in a real way, with presence, real presence there with them. And I don't just, by that I don't mean just be present there and watch them. No, I mean real presence of mind and spirit in listening to them. So, how do you do that? First of all, let's be clear. If you are self-absorbed, if you like to talk mostly about yourself, if when you have a conversation tend to share your experiences without being very much interested about the experiences of your interlocutor, then forget about it. You are not able to listen. If you are not in contact with your inner feelings and do not accept your own pain, if you are not compassionate and forgiving towards yourself before being compassionate towards the others, then forget about it. You are not able to listen. If you consider people like a tool to get to your own objective, your own agenda, because you have a personal agenda with all the people in your life, and they could even be your partner, mind that. Even a person that you, when you think to them, you think, oh, I love her or I love him so much, but actually for your psychological construction of mind, because of your education, of your past experiences, you tend to consider them as some tool to get to your own personal goal. Then forget about it. You are not able to listen. In order to listen, and listen really, with empathy, you have to forget about yourself. And it's not just forget about yourself in a kind of superficial way. It's a very hard thing to do. You have to put yourself in a corner. Leave that ego of yourself there, in the corner. Forget about your own experiences. Forget about your own desires, your own values, prejudices, etc. You have to exit your own thinking box and embrace with purity, innocence, complete curiosity and awareness what the other person is saying to you, which basically means that if you don't like what that person is saying to you, you have to accept that anyway. Unfortunately, this is one of the most difficult things to do in our life because it requires something spectacular, in my opinion, something immense, painful, which is the journey to get to know yourself. And it's not something you are born with. It's a journey that you have to make in your life. And only when you get to really know yourself, only then you are really able to listen to others in the sense of listening with empathy. This means that you are in control of your personal psychological instances, of your dark side, to say that in a very colorful way. You are in control of your desires, your fears. It's you to control them, and not the contrary, because you know them. If you know them, you control them. So they don't control you. And in this state of mind, you can forget about yourself, because you can really manage to forget about yourself, because you know yourself, you can control yourself, so you can forget about yourself. And you can start to listen to the other people. You can concentrate uniquely on the person in front of you and be present in that moment. Now, following here, the most common mistakes we make when we listen to someone who is in pain. The first one is, I feel sorry for you. When you say, oh, I feel so sorry for you. This is sympathy, it's not empathy. When you see, oh, I feel you, I've been there. The subtext of sympathy is distance. At that moment, you are not with the person, but in a place where you observe from far away that person, and from far away you feel pity for that person. But you are not that person in that very moment. You just feel pity for far away. It's like you are consoling a cat. No, this is not being present. This is not empathy. It's just sympathy. And it's not a very good thing to do. The second mistake is when you say, oh, you should be ashamed for having done that. It's when someone comes to you and tells that she did something that was not right. But this is judgment. It's again about you. It's not about that person. You are still inside yourself. It's your ego speaking, with his values, the values of your ego. And you are saying what pleases to you, to your ego, what satisfies you, your judging instances, not what that person really needs to hear. You are not with that person. You are not being empathic, once again. The third mistake is when you say, you let me down. How many parents do that? You let me down. Or you do that with friends, with partners. In this case, you express disappointment, which means you are thinking only about how you feel. You feel disappointed. You are not thinking about how that person feels. You're just minding your ego, once again, instead of being with that person. The next error is, this feels terrible. Who can we blame? Which means you are trying to find a culprit, an offender, a criminal in that case, instead of being with that person. But that person is not coming to you to find an offender, a criminal, a culprit. No. They are just coming to you because they want, again, empathy. In this case, you are still inside yourself, in your little mental box, and you are not outside and present near your interlocutor. The next mistake is the number 5. Let's minimize it. No, don't think about that. It's nothing. In this case, you are only concerned again about your discomfort with the issue. Probably it's just a possibility. The reason you don't want to give importance to this issue of which your friend is talking about is because you don't feel comfortable with it, or because you are maybe scared, or you think it's really not important. And in this case, still, it's something that it's inside you, it's not with that person. So you are still inside you. This is according to you. It's you again. You are not letting you are letting your ego do the talk, and you will not be able in this case to hear the other person and understand with total curiosity and aperture what she has to say. So this is another error. And now let's talk about the error number 6. If you think that's bad, let me tell you what happened to me. So again, this is competing. You are talking about your own experiences. You are just talking about yourself, and you are not being present with that person, with what that person feels. You are not creating that presence, that silence, that total focus in that other person that creates understanding and makes that other person feel better. You are just nourishing your ego, who wants just to brag about this experience. The 7th error that we make is this. I can't believe you say that to your boss. This is just an example, of course, but it's to show that sometimes, or you for instance, you say, we don't talk about this kind of stuff. This happens when someone tells to you that they have done something very courageous, very brave, but you don't accept that because in your case, you feel uncomfortable talking to people who speaks truth to power, because you have never spoken truth to power. You have never gone outside the rules that delimitates your life. You probably never said anything inconvenient to your boss. You always followed the rules. So if someone breaks them by defying the authority, which can happen, sometimes it's necessary. In this case, you are uncomfortable. But this is your ego again. It's your values. You are in your box. You are not listening to that person. You are just thinking about yourself. If you really want to be a friend to that person, say instead, you were so brave to say that. I admire you. The effect will be magic. But of course, this will require a total open-minded stance from your part. And it's very difficult to find because you have your own values. But again, you have to abandon your own values. The following mistake, number 8, is when you say, I want to fix it. I can fix it. You don't need to fix the problem because they are not looking again for someone to fix the problem, but someone that listens to them, that embrace them. They will solve the problem 100 times after they are feeling well. But for them, now it's important that you are with them, not to fix the problem. You must let them feel good. The problem will be solved alone. The following error is when you start speaking just right after the other person has finished. This means that you are not listening to that person, but you are just waiting politely for your turn to speak. So this is not empathic at all, and it's the other person maybe will not perceive that on a conscious level, but on an unconscious level it will perceive. She will perceive that, and she will feel coldness from your part. So just let the thing go, let some moments go on, and then speak. So in the end, after all this, how do we really talk to that other person? There is one magical word that you can say in order to show empathy without doing all the errors that I say to you. And this is, tell me more, go on. And then you observe total silence, you focus on that person and listen to them. So when someone is doing that, you just say, tell me more, and then listen. That's the real way to do. I know it's very difficult, and that probably many of us just don't have time to do that. Or maybe the life is too difficult to implement these skills. But on the other side, if you do it, it will be an act of generosity that will gratify you in the deepest part of your heart. You will have helped someone. And this is one of the few things that are worth living for. Thanks for listening. I'm Enzo, your life coach from Bevolution, the channel that helps you improve your life. If you like that video, subscribe. You will get new content every week in our channel. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.